rebel force has penetrated the shield and landed on Endor.
This is where the fun begins.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
This is Rebel Force Radio,
your source for the Force.
Star Wars news and commentary
with Jason Swank and Jimmy Mack.
I've seen Star Wars 500 times. Star Wars #1.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
Now it's time for Rebel Force Radio.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Chut, everybody. Welcome back to Rebel Force Radio, your source for the Force. It's the holiday season. I hope you're taking some time to enjoy the festivities. Hope you're having festivities. Hope you're maybe going out and maybe seeing some light displays in your neighborhood, maybe eating some good food, enjoying friends and family, because that's really what it's all about. It's about the comfort of the holidays, spending time with the ones you love, the ones that maybe make you forget about all the craziness in the world. And we hear from you. Those of you writing in to us at show at rebelforceradio.com, we know that's we're kind of comfort food for you. So hope you are, again, having a great holiday season here. This week's show, as we get into sort of the midway point here of the holidays, and I got to tell you, we got some crazy stuff. First of all, who's in, who's out? If you're following the trades and the information coming out of Hollywood, you're still hearing stuff about Patty Jenkins. We thought that we, a couple weeks ago had some answers on that. Well, maybe not so fast. What might have happened? Could Patty Jenkins be getting back to Rogue Squadron? Also, Rangers of the New Republic. What's going on with that? Well, there's some news coming out of Lucasfilm by way of Empire Magazine. So we'll be talking about all of that. Plus, did you catch? I mean, it was like online and then gone in an instant. Did you see that promo on YouTube for the Galactic Starcruiser attraction at Galaxy's Edge? Yeah. If you missed it, I was just minding my own business. All of a sudden, everything started blowing up about this promo. By the time I went online to see it, it was gone. Well, we'll talk about all of that and so much more. Plus, this is incredible. I haven't even heard it. Okay, that's what a world debut this is. I haven't even heard it. Puppet Lando, brand new song. He's spreading love and cheer here on Rebel Force Radio. And we've got that for you in just a little bit coming up later in the program. And but first, introductions in order. If you're new to the program, and we know this show is growing by leaps and bounds. My name is Jason, and with me, as always, my good friend and yours from Chicago, Jimmy Mack.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Star Wars fans. I'm so happy to be back on RFR this week because there's so much to make fun of in the world of Star Wars. So that hotel promo, man. You haven't seen it yet. It's
no. I did see it. I did see it. But you know what's funny about it is it's like the holiday special now. The only footage I can find of it is grainy and like it's video screen captures. It's the new holiday special. I swear to God. Someday it's going to be a Blu-ray bonus feature.
Well, nothing ever disappears on the internet.
Right.
And so we actually have one of those grainy copies of the promo, and we can watch it a little bit later and try to get to the bottom of that. But news with the Star Wars Hotel. We're hearing conflicting reports about Rogue Squadron. Is it on? Is it off? What's Patty Jenkins going to do?
I thought we settled all that a couple of weeks ago.
I really did. I thought it was over with. So I'm really excited to dive right into it. I mean, just because we got to get rid of some business so we could get to the debut of Puppet Lando's new song. It has nothing to do with the holidays, but everything to do with the smoothness of Puppet Lando himself. And we're going to hear a song that's obviously, Puppet Lando, very inspired by Billy D. Williams' album, Let's Misbehave from the 60s. So think in terms of that. while you await the world debut. I mean, everyone's going to be talking about this at the water cooler tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you want to be on top of this the second it drops, and you'll be able to say to your grandchildren, I was there. I was there. So that's coming up.
All right. Well, let's kick things off with a little listener mail here. We got some leftovers from our Thanksgiving special. We promised we'd get to as many of these as we possibly can. So take it away.
Check, guys. Jacob from Southwest Missouri here. I started listening to you guys at the tail end of 2020, and sorry I'm late to the party, but I've really enjoyed going back and listening to some of the old podcasts and staying caught up now. I just upgraded to Comlink tier on Patreon. Super glad to be able to support you guys and get some extra content. So I figured I'd send you a discussion topic for the next Comlink or whenever you've got a chance to throw it out. Is there any evidence that Count Dooku ever planned on trying to overthrow Darth Sidious? I know that it's a big part of the rule of two that the apprentice is supposed to overthrow the master, but I don't know off the top of my head that I've ever seen evidence that Dooku was planning on making any moves towards Sidious. It seemed like he was just kind of hanging out and running the war. What are your thoughts on that? Is there anything out there that I may have missed? Thanks for all you guys do. Really appreciate it, and look forward to hearing your response. I know I've sent in a couple other questions, and you guys are always real quick to respond to emails and give me your thoughts. I always appreciate it. So may the force be with you.
Well, thank you very much. All right. I think I may have an answer, or at least an observation. The rule of two, and did Dooku ever attempt or talk about the overthrow of Sidious and taking on the mantle as, the Sith Lord? Yeah, he does. He does in episode 2, Attack of the Clones, at least the way I read it, where he basically tells Obi-Wan when he's a prisoner there on Geonosis that the Republic has fallen under the control of a Sith Lord, and he invites Obi-Wan to help him destroy the Sith, as he says. And it's a little bit of a confusing scene. It's one of those that I've been wanting to go back and watch with the commentary on to see if George makes any interesting observations about it, because it is not, Jim, it's not a typical Sith-style seduction there, because he's appealing to Obi-Wan's desire to root out the source of the corruption and the darkness that has fallen, across the galaxy. So he's appealing to that instinct in Obi-Wan, but so he's not saying, you and I can rule the galaxy together. He's like, join me and we can destroy the Sith. But I interpret that as kind of a sugar-coated way of saying, basically, join me and we can rule the galaxy together. That's my interpretation of it.
Yeah, that would be the example I would use for the caller is the dialogue that went on between Dooku and Obi-Wan on Geonosis. Feels like we talked about this actually recently too. But I see great similarities between the way Dooku tries to lure Obi-Wan to his side when compared to Vader reaching out to Luke saying, join me together. We can end this conflict and bring order to the... he's really playing on fixing the problem. And that's what Dooku was doing with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan wants to get to the bottom of who's been pulling the strings with the Clone War, or the rise of the the dark side in the galaxy.
Yeah, who is the Phantom Menace?
Yeah,
you might say.
Yeah. That's the mystery he's trying to solve, and Dooku wants to help him fix that problem. Vader looks at Luke and sees Luke as part of a rebellion, a militia that is populated by his friends, and he's fueled by that friendship. And Vader knows what their end goal is, and that is to topple the Empire. Vader doesn't say, well, topple the Empire, of course, but he says, we'll end the conflict. And that is, the conflict is what the Galactic Civil War is all about. So
I like where you're going with
it's very similar.
Yeah, it's relative to what the seductee is after. That's the bait. In the case of Luke, it's we will bring order to the galaxy and destroy the Emperor. In the case of Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's we will get to the bottom of what's rotting the Republic from within, and and rid the galaxy of the Sith. But of course, in the back of his mind, he thinks that in the process, he's going to convert Obi-Wan. I would assume.
And then naturally, Dooku would eventually try to overthrow Sidious if everything went forward and stayed on the path it was going. In other words, if Dooku wasn't killed by Anakin, wasn't assassinated by Anakin Skywalker, sooner or later, the nature of the Sith would have taken over, and that relationship would have ended with Dooku killing Sidious in his sleep.
Yeah.
It would have just naturally gone that way. And I think that's inevitable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's an allegory for totalitarians and dictatorships. You can never have the benevolent dictator because there's always somebody more ambitious behind him that's going to want to take him out. And I think that's sort of the story that George is telling us, is that the old adage, absolute, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And there's always somebody that thinks they can do a better job and then want all the spoils and all the riches of it. And so the Sith are great emblems of that, that's for sure. But it's all the weird thing is, and I've never thought of it the way you framed it, in the way, because I always looked at it sort of superficially, like that there's not much of a comparison between the seduction of Luke Skywalker and Empire versus what Dooku's doing in Attack of the Clones, because the galaxy's in kind of different positions, and the hero is after different things. But I really like the way that you framed it. There is a lot of similarity to it, and I think what's thrown me off is that Dooku sort of, what's odd about that scene is that the whole nature of Palpatine's secret control of the Republic, Dooku pulls the curtain back on the whole thing. Like, he basically tells Obi-Wan the truth. So he is trying to corrupt him through the truth, which is interesting. But if you look at it, so does Vader. Vader tells Luke, the Emperor has foreseen your power. So he sort of seduces Luke in a way through the truth. So that's fascinating. I've never looked at it that way.
They play on the desires of the person that they're trying to influence and seduce. And that's all it is this big game of seduction.
Yeah.
But, there's truth behind it for sure. There's definite truth behind both Vader and his plea to Luke, coming clean with Luke, saying that the Emperor has foreseen that you are going to kill him.
Right. Yeah. Very cool.
So,
very cool.
Yeah. And obviously Luke, here's the guy, he blew up the Death Star. Obviously, the next achievement for him would be killing the Emperor then and sealing the deal.
This is such a great example for those of you who are dealing with could be a friend or a relative that says, what are you still talking about? What is there to talk about with Star Wars? Why do you listen to this 2-hour podcast every week? Because you know what? There's always a new way to look at things. There's always something new that's revealed to us, even on a movie that's been around for 40 some years, going on, 45 years. It's crazy, but that's it. Now I am excited to go back and look at those scenes again, because there is definitely a connection to those. All right. Speaking of new, let's talk about the news.
I have good news for you, my lord.
That's
good news. Come closer, I have good news.
All right, as I say, we had the story a couple of weeks ago that Patty Jenkins was putting other projects ahead of Rogue Squadron. She was obviously attached to Wonder Woman 3. She's, really one of the lead creatives on that franchise. And there's also this Cleopatra film that she's attached to, which is a bit of it seems like a passion project for her, and also involves Gal Gadot, who will presumably will take the lead as Cleopatra. And that those films were on a faster track than Rogue Squadron, therefore leading to some what they call scheduling conflicts. So she was going to take herself out of working on Rogue Squadron. But Jim, the scuttlebutt we heard behind the scenes was that all was not necessarily harmonious there, and that there may have been some, long and short of it, I don't think there was anything real contentious, but that Patty Jenkins, I think, found the creative environment to not be to her liking. It seems like she was having to run things through story group, and it just wasn't an environment that she found conducive to her creative process, and so they parted ways.
Yeah. It appears that she was uncomfortable with the fact that the more deeper she got into it, the more restricted she was beginning to feel by the hurdles she has to go through with all the other people who have to sign off on things at Lucasfilm. That was the indication we've been given. Mm-hmm. And even picking apart some things Patty was saying about working in this franchise specifically.
Yes.
It was challenging for her.
Right.
And she was making that clear in interviews dating back to summer 2020 or 21, summer 2021, right. I should say. Yeah. Right after the announcement of Rogue Squadron in December, and then the release of Wonder Woman 1984, in a matter of weeks following those two events, Warner Brothers announced that they were fast-tracking Wonder Woman 3. Now, I don't know if that's a case of them wanting to strike the iron while it's hot. I don't know if that's a case of them reacting to unfavorable critical response of Wonder Woman 84, thinking that the quickest way to save the franchise is to get out another film and make it good. That's what we do here on Rebel Force Radio. We'll be like, oh, God, that show sucked last week. We got to get another one.
We always got another one. Yeah, that's right. It's got another one behind us. But with films, it takes years. It takes years to get the bad taste out of the mouths of your fans and the people plunking the money down. And Wonder Woman 84 was sort of caught in that period where that seems like going to the cinema is a much more common thing now than it was 12 months ago. Back then, there seemed to be no option for going to the theater, and so Wonder Woman 84 got pushed off to streaming. I think it might have had some theatrical exposure, but it was largely consumed on HBO Max. And I don't know if it was that. I haven't seen the film. I've really fallen off after the Chris Nolan Batman films. I really haven't really dove into any of the DC stuff. Just heard so much mixed, but Wonder Woman is one of those that broke through. Gal Gadot's performance as Wonder Woman.
I have to correct you. Her name is Gal Gadot. Like Gadot. The nerds get crazy if you say Gadot.
Really?
They get nuts.
Gadot.
If you say that. It's Gadot. Huh. Yes, I even looked up a video on YouTube of her saying how you pronounce her name.
Gal
If you
Gadot.
even want to pull up that video, Gal Gadot. Pull it up, and she even says it a little bit differently than that. I know I'm not exactly nailing the pronunciation, but I also know it's not Godot. That's more of like a French sort of pronunciation, and she's definitely not French.
Okay, all right. Let's see. I think
her lineage comes from Israel, I believe.
Here's Gal.
Hello, my name is Gal Gadot. I'm obviously Israeli.
Yeah, Gal Gadot.
Gadot.
Yeah, so we have to say it like that. Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Okay.
See,
Wait.
I'm a hopeless cause. I still call her Gail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a lost cause right out of the box.
Yeah, true Chicagoan. Gail.
Hey, Gail Gadot.
Yeah. Well, anyway, very charismatic, very beautiful, does a great job in the role as Wonder Woman. So it is one of the shining stars of kind of a lackluster, DC universe in cinemas. So yes, I can imagine that Warner wants to do this, and also, they got Patty Jenkins, and female, very capable female director. They don't want to let her go. So you had speculated, and others had talked like, well, hey, maybe this is just them sort of doing the. I think we even made a comparison to when Pierce Brosnan was cast as James Bond, and then Remington Steele, NBC came in and said, nah, not so fast. We want to do another season of Remington Steele, so that he wasn't, going to have that opportunity to go out and make a bunch of money for Eon and the James Bond franchise. He was going to stay home and make more money for NBC. Is this a case of that? We thought, are they basically, C-blocking Gal Gadot? So that she can't go and put more money in the coffers of Warner Brothers.
And by C blocking, you mean Cleopatra blocking.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly what I mean. Cleopatra blocking. But speaking of Cleopatra, that seems to not be the case, because this Deadline exclusive says that they have a new director for the Cleopatra project. It's going to be Carrie Skoglund, and that Patty Jenkins is shifting to a producer role on that project. And why? Because this would enable her to focus on her next two projects, Wonder Woman 3 and Star Wars Rogue Squadron. So, Jim, they have knocked out. The last story was she was unavailable because of Wonder Woman 3, and I should say she was unavailable for Rogue Squadron because of Wonder Woman 3 and Cleopatra. Now we've got a conflicting story that says she's unavailable for Cleopatra because of Wonder Woman 3 and Rogue Squadron. So what happened here?
All right, well, we definitely know Wonder Woman 3 is the thorn in Patty's side as far as her schedule goes. Patty Jenkins says she wants to work and do as many movies as possible. But I think she bit off more than she can chew with these three films, Star Wars, Cleopatra, and Wonder Woman. So reality has now smacked her upside the head, because she thought she'd have all of 2021 to work on Rogue Squadron, get it in front of cameras in early 2022, be done with it, have post-production wrapped up, and then roll right into Wonder Woman. That's how she imagined it would happen.
Yeah.
When Warner Brothers announced at the beginning of the year that they were going to fast-track Wonder Woman 3, Patty still said, well, fine, I still have this year. And then the middle of the summer happened, and she realized that she was reaching stalemates in meetings with Lucasfilm as far as the development of the story and the script. And she kept having to go back to the woodshed many more times than she thought she would have to. And so simply ran out of time, because now Wonder Woman is coming up on her schedule, and they don't have a finished script yet for Rogue Squadron. So she's going to have to jump into Wonder Woman now. But what's up with Cleopatra? I mean, that has Gal Gadot in it, and that has Patty. She was really looking forward to doing that from everything that we could gather. Mm-hmm. So why is she pushing that one aside now? For Rogue Squadron.
I have a theory.
I think, what?
Well, my theory is that they came to an agreement. I think that once fans and pundits and all of that digested the news that Patty Jenkins was no longer going to be, that it wasn't that she was no longer attached. It was that they were sort of putting it on hold. They were postponing production. They were of Rogue Squadron. I think that they realized that they needed to hold on to this project. They needed to hold on to Patty Jenkins. And I think that Lucasfilm blinked, so to speak, and that they've reached an agreement, and maybe Patty has more creative control, or maybe she has more say-so. Maybe she has more autonomy in the development. That would be my guess.
That could be. I just want a reason for why she's walking away from directing Cleopatra. Is it because Wonder Woman is going to take way too much of her time and there's no way she can prep for both? Is it because she wants to prioritize Star Wars to happen after Wonder Woman 3? It's possible. But I've been asking some of our friends who work in the industry, and I'm not getting any confidence from anyone that Rogue Squadron is going to be a go. I've been told to look at the source, meaning this Deadline article that has revealed that Patty Jenkins is moving on, and he says it reads like someone's press release. So either it's the new director, it comes from Patty. Who knows who it's coming from?
Sounds to me like it's coming out of the Skoglund camp. Perhaps.
It could be, yeah. And it says it's someone's press release, not an actual statement from the studio. So our source is 100% convinced Rogue Squadron is dead for now. And I said, well, what's the buzz about what could happen after Wonder Woman 3? Could Rogue Squadron be in play then? And our guy said, how many other directors left a Star Wars movie and came back? And I thought to myself, oh. Well, okay, the track record is what it is. Yeah,
but how many of these were females? And we know that this is a big priority for Lucasfilm. I think it's a big priority for them. I think that to have the first female director of a Star Wars movie, it is a big deal. I think that this just to me smells of something that Kathleen Kennedy would move hell and earth to make this happen. And if that means subjugating Story Group and various other layers of bureaucracy. Yeah, exactly. Bureaucracy to make it happen. I think that she would be willing to do that. And here's the other thing. If Gal Gadot can star in both movies, why can't Patty Jenkins direct both movies without a problem?
Oh, well, the director has to be in charge of everything. I mean, Gal Gadot, there'll be days when she's not even required on the set. So the responsibilities of a film director are 1,000 times more than just an actor.
I wonder
not to diminish
sometimes.
Actors, but
yeah, I wonder sometimes.
Well, yes, it's sometimes I guess yes. You have flake job directors who get in over their heads and lock themselves up in their trailers or in a rented house in Malibu and vandalizes the place.
I wonder, and I have no proof of this, and I should probably ask around. We have people that work in the industry, but I sometimes wonder if directors are kind of like name brands that they attach to films, and not saying that they don't work. I think, if you're a Martin Scorsese, if you're a Stevens, I wonder sometimes about Spielberg actually, but I do wonder if we get them behind the camera a few times, they sort of set the tone for the set, and then they kind of, disappear, and others, assistants and DPs and second unit directors come in and kind of work. It makes me wonder sometimes. That's all. I'm just saying.
It depends. Obviously, it depends on what they're shooting.
Yeah.
And it depends on the director themselves.
Right.
Some directors prefer not to be so hands-on. Others sign off on every prop you see and every set and everything. So it can be complicated.
But the point is that we have, within a span of 3 weeks, we have two conflicting stories. We have one that says that Rogue Squadron is being put on the back burner, for lack of a better expression, and to allow Patty Jenkins to move forward with these other two projects, namely Wonder Woman 3 and Cleopatra. Fast forward a couple of weeks, we've got this Deadline exclusive that kind of says sort of the opposite, that Jenkins is no longer attached to direct Cleopatra, so that after Wonder Woman 3, she can focus on Rogue Squadron. Well, who do you believe?
I believe that Star Wars might be getting used a little bit in this situation just to bolster resumes. Patty Jenkins looks very attractive as far as being a hire by other people.
Certainly
if
in
she still
demand.
has Star Wars. Yeah, in demand. That's exactly what I'm looking to say. Patty Jenkins remains more in demand with Star Wars on her current resume than not.
Right.
And there have been no official announcements from the studio regarding the status of Rogue Squadron. However, I had heard from a licensee that they had been seeing Rogue Squadron hype from Lucasfilm in every meeting they've been having until most recently. There's not a peep of Rogue Squadron. You don't see the logo anymore. It's been erased from those types of meetings and conversations that are going on in an official capacity. So for now, it is dead. For now, Rogue Squadron is dead. Can it be resuscitated? It happens in films.
Yep.
Some films remain in developmental hell for 2 decades before they go in front of cameras.
But you're right to point out, because especially with a brand like Star Wars, you can read a lot from what's going on with the licensees. I think you're right to use that as evidence here.
So internally, the buzz about Rogue Squadron is dead.
Yeah.
Top secret meetings, sure, yeah. But it's not being promoted within the company anymore. I also asked our people, do you think Warner Brothers may have fast-tracked Wonder Woman 3 just to mess with LFL? And the response was no, they need a movie. They need the movie. Wonder Woman makes money for Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what Rotten Tomatoes says, Wonder Woman makes money. And they need to make money in the 2 years of pandemic downtime that the studios have been through. There's a certain layer of desperation going on here. And these franchises, of course, are a goldmine for these studios.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening.
All right. Okay, well, we'll move on from one project or one potentially scrapped project to another, and that is Rangers of the New Republic. And there is there's a quote from Kathleen Kennedy that is in the Boba Fett special edition of Empire Magazine, where she talks about Rangers of the New Republic and actually states that we'd never written any scripts or anything on that.
Or anything
Nothing. On that. No, you had a logo and you stood there. You stood there and announced it. You yourself, you were there.
This is typical corporate shoveling the what. And Kathleen does this all the times when things get canceled. She always says, oh, we weren't really working on that. No. Josh Trank, we didn't really develop anything with him, like a total Boba Fett movie that we were going to announce at Star Wars Celebration 2015 until we told Josh to go home. Literally at the convention. This was going to be revealed. They had a sizzle reel already made for this. Oh, no, we had nothing. Rangers of the New Republic. You got a name.
Yeah.
You got a logo.
Right.
You got a big announcement. You got total concepts in place. And don't tell me you don't have anything. To say you have nothing means you have no outline, you have no treatment, you have no rough drafts or anything. I bet all of those were in play.
Well, wait a minute. Listen to her contradict herself within a span of 2 sentences. We'd never written any scripts or anything on that. Some of that will figure into future episodes.
Yeah.
I'm sure of.
Some of what?
Mandalorian. Some of what? The nothing that you wrote? Some of the nothing?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, you got nothing. You got nothing. And listen, we had drawn the conclusion that with Gina Carano and Lucasfilm parting ways, that Rangers of the New Republic got scrapped for exactly that reason, because it was supposed to be a showcase for her. And it had already been foreshadowed in season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Right.
So that's what happened. and don't say that things weren't being developed when you have all these things that are going to spill into The Mandalorian. And that's exactly what we said was going to happen here on this show, that Rangers of the New Republic will be absorbed into The Mandalorian.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely they have things going on, and it's just going to be transferred to a different character within the boundaries of the show, The Mandalorian itself, without actually being a spin-off of it. In October, we had heard that there still could be some life to the project, Rangers of the New Republic, because Hollywood Trades had revealed that, they were just digging deep into the book of Boba Fett and everything, and they mentioned specifically, Hollywood Reporter mentioned, Rangers of the New Republic was still in development. But they're just using the information they have, you know?
Right.
Because Rangers of the New Republic had never been officially canceled by the studio. Since Kathleen made that announcement of the series back in December, there's been no other official announcement made about that series.
Here's my question. When's the last time you heard any official announcement from Lucasfilm/Disney about anything?
About things being canceled?
I'm talking about things being canceled and people being cast. We were talking about this last week. It always comes out of one of these trades as an exclusive. And then, it talks at the end of the story, you get to this director or this actor is repped by this agency, and no official comment has been made by Disney or Lucasfilm. We know that they don't make a practice of confirming any of this stuff because they don't need to. They've got people that are doing the work for them.
They did though with the blow up with Michael Arndt and the Force Awakens. They made that public. That's how we found out about JJ and Lawrence Kasdan then stepping into the screenwriter shoes. We heard about Lord and Miller getting fired and replaced by Ron Howard.
Okay.
But I mean, these are actual things that are deep in production at this time. I mean,
but you also have
in
big
front
names.
Of cameras.
Like who's going to argue with Lawrence Kasdan returning to Star Wars? No one.
Or
who's going to argue about Ron Howard? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, but these other stories, so every time you read one of these and it says, no comment, no official comment from Lucasfilm or Disney, well, of course not. They don't comment on anything. They don't confirm anything until the damn show, plays on Disney+.
We are getting, though, the closest thing to an official announcement that you can ask for in this Empire Magazine article with these statements from Kathleen. I mean, she runs the whole damn studio for crying out loud.
Right.
So just because it doesn't appear to us as a press release or it doesn't show up as some official announcement, this is about as official as it gets.
Yes,
this is the president of Lucasfilm
right.
saying that the show isn't going to happen. Instead, Rangers will be absorbed into The Mandalorian.
But she never comes out and says that it's not going to happen. She goes, well, we've never really written anything. There are no scripts.
She denies
really
it even existed.
For that. Right, yeah, exactly.
Denies it existed even.
Yeah, other than a logo.
And she's done that countless numbers of times.
Right.
With all sort of other projects. I think that's just a load of crap. But at least there is going to be a venue for whatever ideas were developed for Rangers of the New Republic, and those ideas will be kept alive, and we'll at least get a taste of things that would have been pegged for Rangers. And it's going to be fun to watch The Mandalorian Season 3 and go, and this is what we'll be doing on the after show. Oh, I bet that was a storyline that was for Rangers.
Right. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And then we might even get information. We might even get official information about that from guys like Favreau and Filoni, the dudes who are in the know and can speak about this with authority and detail that Kathleen Kennedy just simply cannot.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But again, you see us turning our heads a few months ago when trades are saying Rangers of the New Republic is still in production. But they're just inferring that information. And that's what I think Deadline is doing with the information about Patty Jenkins leaving Cleopatra then. I think it's all inference.
Yeah.
It's not official.
Right.
They have nothing to contradict, really, what they're reporting, because they're saying, what? Lucasfilm announced Rogue Squadron. We know it's coming. They never officially said it was canceled.
Right.
And so that's why there may be still some life to this project. That's probably why we have not heard about it being officially canceled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of two things is likely to be the case. Either they reach some sort of agreement and Patty Jenkins is back on board, and Deadline knows that, or, as you say, Jim, this is them assuming that we haven't read the story that was posted 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they're just going with what has officially been announced. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
but Deadline says, they say in their article, despite these comments from Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, despite these comments, Disney has yet to officially announce the cancellation of Star Wars Rangers of the New Republic. So those looking forward to it don't have to be too pessimistic at this time. Oh, yeah, why would I be pessimistic when the president of the studio is saying it's not happening and that they're going to use
We'd never
those
written any
ideas.
scripts or anything on that.
They're going to use all those scripts that they never wrote and all those ideas that they never developed and incorporate them into Mandalorian Season 3. But don't get too pessimistic if you're really looking forward to Rangers of the New Republic. Give me a break. Guys,
it's bad. It's real bad.
A line like that is written by a guy who doesn't want his Disney premiere privileges stripped from him.
That's right.
So he has to toe the company line for a company he doesn't even work for.
Yeah.
I mean, Deadline, come on. Come on. You think that you think the fans are dumb just like Disney thinks the fans are dumb. I mean, respect.
We can read and we have memories.
Yeah, and we can also read between the lines, which is something you guys need to start doing.
Right. All right. Well, let's get to this. This was wild. Like I say, over the weekend, I'm minding my own business. I'm not thinking about any of this stuff, and all of a sudden I start seeing videos on my YouTube feed and all my social media is going up about this promo for the Galactic Starcruiser, which is the big, I guess we can't really call it a hotel. I'm going to call it a hotel. It's a hotel experience where you basically go into this hotel and they lock the doors behind you. You can't get out. You can't leave. And so you finish this 2-day adventure that costs you $6,000-$7,000 for a family of 4 to do it. But I mean, on the surface, the idea of being able to check into a Star Wars themed resort hotel and have an adventure within the Star Wars universe over a span of a couple of days with your, friends and family, on the surface, that is a great thing. How amazing. If you would have told us 10 years ago that this was possible, we'd have been so excited about it. And then then you see it. And look, I mean, this is everything with respect to Galaxy's Edge, despite all of the coolness. Full disclosure, I've not been there, but Jim, you've been there, and I have a good friend who practically lives there. So I feel, and I see the photos, and I know what it looks like. It's been so well documented on YouTube and online. There just seems to be a lack of sort of core classic Star Wars in any of this stuff. It's all either created new for Galaxy's Edge or borrowed from the Disney era of Star Wars, and seems to be really stuck in the sequel trilogy era. Hasn't really advanced into Mandalorian. And you recall, and we'll get to this Starcruiser thing in just a minute, but Jim, you recall that one of the what was considered the genius hallmarks of Galaxy's Edge was that it could evolve depending on what was happening within the Star Wars universe at the time. So at the time, it unveiled The sequel trilogy was the hot thing. That's what was coming out. Now we're a couple of years away from the sequel trilogy. We got one of the biggest streaming shows in the history of streaming TV, The Mandalorian. We've got Book of Boba Fett. We've got Ahsoka on the way. We've got Kenobi. And you look at Galaxy's Edge, there's no Mandalorian. There's no Baby Yoda. There's nothing. There's nothing. And there's nothing that's even evocative of the classic original trilogy or the prequels. Right. So it's basically a monument to the sequel trilogy, which frankly just hasn't stuck. We talked about Avatar on the show here and there. We talk about how it's a franchise that just didn't quite stick. Yeah, it was the biggest movie for the longest time. I don't think it's still the record holder. I think Avengers has eclipsed it, but if for the longest time it was the number one movie of all time, but it just didn't have any staying power. It didn't stick. And that's where I'm starting to realize that the sequel trilogy failed. It just didn't really stick. But yet Galaxy's Edge just hold on to it.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately the nature of the park itself doesn't lend itself to being able to switch over to other Star Wars experiences like the ride Star Tours does. Mm-hmm. That can be easily upgraded, put you on new planets, put you in new situations, and keep it current with what's going on with Star Wars, either on TV or in the films. But Galaxy's Edge is really kind of locked in, and it's cool. I mean, it's cool because it has this familiar Star Wars aesthetic that we've been seeing a lot in everything from the first time we went to Mos Eisley to Mos Espa in the prequels, and then Jakku in the sequels, and then Navarro and Tatooine and the Mandalorian, this outdoor marketplace vibe. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah. Yeah. That aesthetic is leaned into heavily with Galaxy's Edge. And, for an appropriate reason, because it's all shopping in there. It's so,
right. Why not have a marketplace, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right. It makes sense. It makes sense. But they're so just gung-ho about this fully immersive experience for the guest that I think they've painted themselves into a corner a little bit. I don't think they need to lean on that. I think they're overthinking that part just a little bit too much. Again, treating fans like they're kind of stupid, I think. Could be great for kids. Great for kids. Right, and that's what it looks like this Galactic Starcruiser is all about. Little kids having fun, but it doesn't resemble Star Wars as much as you'd like it to. The idea that they made the hotel a ship, I think, again, paints them into a corner. Because the hotel would be great if you had different areas you can go into, like the Death Star, and walk in there and you see, the familiar light fixtures on the wall and familiar Imperial surroundings. That'd be great. Then you walk down to another area of the hotel and you're in the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Right.
The hotel itself seems to have an aesthetic of its very own, which immediately places it outside of Star Wars. Little visual indicators here or there, notwithstanding, it doesn't put you in Star Wars because nothing resembles anything we saw on TV. In an animated series
it's very sci-fi. It feels very Star Trek-y to me, or Babylon 5. And I say that because it just feels very generic sci-fi. Not in Star Wars it's not sci-fi. It's not. I totally believe that George, I think, made space the backdrop for the story, but it brought in all of these elements, the Wild West and samurai and all of these other things, whereas Disney seems to be so reliant on the sci-fi tech aspect of it, and I just feel that they're missing a big part of what makes it Star Wars.
A big part of what makes it Star Wars is you don't have to look farther than the films themselves. and just start cherry picking things off of that.
Right.
It's right there. It's right in front of you. It's so easy, and it's what the people want. But there's a stubbornness, and there's an independent streak in Disney where it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. They have Star Wars now. What are they going to do with it?
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, I think we get more Disney and less of Star Wars in the final product. And that'll be painfully obvious when we watch this promo video in just a few minutes. Again, if you're listening and you have booked yourself a stay at the Star Wars Hotel, number one, when you get back, I want to hear all about it.
Right.
And
of course.
Number two, we hope you have the time of your life and you really get your Star Wars rocks off and you have a memorable experience you'll never forget. However, sitting on our side of things, we're here with the regular guy. And the regular guy is looking at $1,200 a night for 2 nights. So we're talking, $2,500 for 2 nights in a place that is like dinner mystery theater on steroids. And if you've ever been to one of those dinner mystery theater things, it's great in the little bit of period that it happens. And in the 3 hours you're there, you're having a good time. But by the time the 3 hours are up, you're done. You want out of there. You want your life back.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is going to be a little too claustrophobic. So the hefty price tag is the reason why the regular fan is feeling a little excluded right now and why you're hearing so much criticism online, because it's fun to attack things we can't obtain. So that's what this segment is all about.
Here's something else too, I think, to keep in mind is that the lead time for projects like this, whether it be Galaxy's Edge or the Galactic Starcruiser, is years. And so they have to do a lot of guesswork. And the conventional wisdom was that the Star Wars sequel trilogy was going to be so big, so huge, so popular that it was actually going to supplant in some ways the popularity of the original, the prequels, and all that stuff would be considered gauche and old-fashioned, and this was the future. And lo and behold, you can love the prequels, you can love the sequels all you want. It's fine. There's a lot about the sequels that I like, personally, but it hasn't had the staying power, the sticking power of even the prequels, to be honest with you. The prequels had more iconic moments and things that embedded themselves into popular culture faster and in a more profound way than anything coming out of the sequel trilogy. In fact, I'd argue that I can't think of anything, honestly, a trope, a character, a line, anything that came out of the sequel trilogy that is really transcended, like what you saw with the original trilogy and the prequels, and then, of course, Baby Yoda.
Yeah, thank you, Al Roker.
Right.
You want to talk about transcending fandom.
Baby Yoda, I love you! All right, let's play this promo and see what all the hubbub is about.
All right, so this is Sam, what's his name? Jambroni,
yeah. You know him as Adam Goldberg.
Adam Goldberg and Ann Morrow Johnson, who's an Imagineer at Disney. So whenever they put these executives in front of the camera, you know it's going to be cringe before you even hit play.
I blame Steve Jobs for this. God rest his soul. But Steve Jobs was a CEO that had chemistry and charisma just coming out of his ears. He made it look easy, like any CEO or any suit could come out and be a spokesperson. It's not true.
Yeah, and look at Disney; they're still in the glow of the almighty Iger.
Yes,
and everyone wants to be the next Bob Iger.
Right? Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look at this. This is the big promo. You can't find this anywhere online right now. No, at least not from any official source. It's been taken down. Not only has it been taken down, but the tweets talking about it have been taken down. So here we go.
Hey, Ann Morrow. Oh, hello there.
I'm super excited to see what you and your team created.
We cannot wait to have you aboard because Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser is a first-of-its-kind vacation experience where you get to spend 2 days and 2 nights.
Okay, I just got to pause right here. If you look at the design, you know, I love Star Trek The Next Generation, but doesn't this look like right out of Star Trek The Next Generation to you?
For sure. For sure. If you wanted to make a Star Wars ship, I would have liked to have seen something more battered, like the interior of the Millennium Falcon. This doesn't say Star Wars to me. Yeah, this does not have the lived-in look. And also, these rooms look tiny, and there's no window. And I just, was thinking to myself, me and Swank, we really should be booking a room at this place to report to our listeners and everything.
Yes.
But then I see this room, and I just see you and me getting in a fist fight right in the middle of it. I really do. And there's no way we can afford our own rooms on this thing, so we'd definitely be sharing a room.
No, we're spooning. We're spooning right there on that little couch. Or whatever.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. You're up in one of the bunks, buddy. I got that bed.
But it has that sci-fi, what's the word?
Generic,
sci-fi. A very bland, kind of smooth, clean look to it. It doesn't have character.
Yeah, more Logan's Run than Star Wars is what I'm seeing here.
Right.
Bland,
Living
just
out
bland.
your very own Star.
Yeah, you got a Wookiee? I'm pausing it on a Wookiee.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
That's Chewbacca.
Oh, it is Chewie. Yeah.
And so he is present at Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
So really the only legacy character that you see around Galaxy's Edge is Chewbacca. And that, again, is you're just not playing with a full deck.
Yeah.
If that's all you're going to be bringing out is Chewbacca from the legacy of Star Wars.
Now, this is sequel trilogy era, so you have First Order stormtroopers back there. So, in fairness, you're not going to have, because of where they, as you say, Jim, they box themselves in. You're not going to have Luke Skywalker showing up. You're not going to have, Han Solo or Darth Vader. I mean, you don't get more iconic than Darth Vader, and there seems to be no Darth Vader here. All right, moving on.
But it doesn't seem like anybody's doing anything in that concept art either. They're just all standing around. It's like, that's what it looks like to me, like you're just showing up. And, when you get to the hotel and you drag your bags in and you look around the lobby and you're like, oh, so this looks okay in here. And then you wait at the desk and they can't get your little card for your room to work. And you just really need to go to the bathroom. And, you really just need to get up to that room just for a few minutes and then you'll come back down. And then all the mayhem kids running around, a Wookiee. I'm like, oh my.
You know what I keep thinking about? I keep thinking about Jimmy Mac, your dad taking you and young Billy Mac to this thing. Like that's what I'm picturing. The kids want to do this. They love this Star Wars thing. I hope they understand that it's fake. It could never happen.
But no, we would never. My dad would never, unless he somehow was able to.
Let's say he won it on a radio contest, or
right? If it was comped, If it was comped.
But you're so right to think. All those little things happen. Like what happens when your key gets demagnetized and you got to go down to the front desk at 11, 12 o'clock and get a new key or something like that. They keep it in universe.
Like the Wookiee greets you at the concierge desk. It's like, you're like, you got a splitting headache. You just went out to get the ice bucket filled up. It's 2 a.m. You just wanted some cold water, and then you got locked out of the room.
You got to play. You got to play the game.
Right.
Echo like, 3 to Echo base, whatever. Yeah, I need some ice.
Yeah, and you can't even get to your ice bucket filled up because there's a damn wampa standing in front of the ice machine. You got
to fight him off.
You have to somehow, outfox the wampa.
No, that would be classic trilogy. There's no wampas here. It's probably that.
Why can't there be wampas there?
There should be.
Wampas don't just die out at the end of Return of the Jedi. They still exist in the galaxy.
I don't know. You think?
just because we didn't see one, we haven't seen. I'm surprised we haven't seen a Wampa yet in
Nothing.
The, various
we didn't see it
programs.
We didn't even see it in Clone Wars, did we?
No,
no Wampas in Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that.
Totally indigenous to Hoth, apparently.
Yeah. No Tauntauns either, really. Right? We didn't even see Tauntauns. And we saw snowy planets. We saw snowy planets in both Rebels and Clone. I know we saw it in Clone Wars.
Yeah, the only thing that really carried over from the Battle of Hoth are the AT-ATs and the Scout.
That's right.
You don't see that big radar dish blaster. You don't see any of the sort of aesthetics you see around Echo Base, like those laser cannons and all of that stuff. However, I did notice that in Rogue One, you're seeing characters who have similar Hoth soldier caps on.
Yeah, yep.
But
right.
that's really the only design aesthetic that I see getting carried over from the Battle of Hoth into other parts of Star Wars outside of the walkers. No ion cannons, no Wampas, no Tauntauns, no nothing.
You do get the big gun on the tripod in Mandalorian, though. You do see that.
That does, yes. The E-Web.
E-Web. Yeah.
What is it?
Cannon. E-Web cannon.
Yeah. So that's good. And that's going to be featured in a new toy from Hasbro with an action figure. We were sharing those photos with each other today.
I thought you would be more excited about that than you were.
Yeah, but I'm not really.
Yeah. Okay.
You know why? Because I've had one in my collection since the mini rig days. So
Right.
And then Hasbro has put out that in the past with Hoth snowtroopers, etc. So to me, it's nothing new.
That's right. It has come packaged with the Trooper. All right. I'm sorry. We're getting on a. All right. So even that logo. Look, Jim, behind Sean, who, by the way, I love. I love the Goldbergs. He's great on the Goldbergs, and I really feel sorry for him because he's just having fun. He likes Star Wars, and I know a lot of people have said, well, he has no connection to Star Wars, so why was he in it? Well, he's in it because he plays Adam Goldberg, who's a huge Star Wars fan, and there's umpteen Star Wars references. We've been playing Goldbergs on our Star Wars and pop culture for years. So I don't think it's any great mystery as to why Sean was in the video. He's relatable. He's a good age, and yeah.
And he's within the corporation. He's an ABC employee. ABC owned by Disney.
That's right.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But no, I think he was a great guy to pick for this. I just feel it was unfortunate that they had him walking around the place like he was, high on pixie sticks or something. But the real reason, Swank, the real reason I feel sorry for him is the shirt with the zipper on the shoulder, which
What's going
really
on
makes
with
no
that?
sense at all. Is that supposed to be futuristic, or did he put on his shirt wrong? Because it looks like he's wearing his shirt, and he's just, you want to grab it and just kind of straighten it out.
My 9-year-old has dressed himself coming downstairs and looking like that. I swear to God. Like, how did that happen?
How did you get your arms in the sleeves like that? I don't get it, kid.
No, it's my futuristic shirt.
That's my Sean, that's his name, Sean. Adam Goldberg. I just call him Adam Goldberg.
Right.
I didn't know he had a real name even. But
we're always talking to, he loves his pops on the show. And
Yeah, Pops. I love Pops. I love Transformers and Star Wars.
All right, whatever.
So here he is. Okay, so he's really excited. But that logo behind them, Jim, that Galactic Starcruiser, to me, that doesn't look that looks so Star Trek or just, name the other Star franchise other than Star Wars. It just...
Right.
Terrible. All right.
It should be an Arabesh.
Right.
Oh, here they go. Oh, can we rewind? I just want to get a glimpse of the hallway there. Oh, that's kind of a cool graphic there. Okay, here we go. We're walking. This is the front door, walking into the actual hotel itself.
Going in.
So it looks pretty Spartan in the in this like foyer area. It doesn't look like much of anything. So you obviously have to pass through something to get to where you're going to go. I heard that they board you on a shuttle. And then the shuttle is supposed to simulate a blast off that then takes you up to the Galactic Starcruiser itself and docks.
Okay.
And then you board the Starcruiser. But these guys, they're just walking in. So I don't know if this approach is the way, like if you're coming off that shuttle and they just skip that part because it's not ready yet or whatever. But it just seems like a long, expansive hallway here. It almost looks like they're walking into an abandoned shopping mall.
Yeah, or after hours at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy gets off work at Lord & Taylor at 9:30.
Lord & Taylor still exists? Probably not.
I think it went out with back rack.
Pennies.
All right. So here they go. They're going walking in. And there's hyperspace, and then boom, here you are. And I don't know if you're looking at if this is the approach, Jim, as you were talking about.
I think this is the shuttle. They're on the shuttle now.
On the shuttle going to the hotel. So this is what.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. All right. This is
now
feeling
they're on the bridge.
Okay. That's just feeling Star Warsy to me. The way the windows are cut and some of the computer graphics on the monitors. Yeah. I'm going to give this
that
an
looks
okay.
Pretty neat.
Yeah.
For a video screen, that looks pretty neat. And I bet they have it set up so it looks like it's very three-dimensional when you're there.
Yeah.
And there's probably exciting like starship flybys and things of that nature.
Right.
While the windows and everything look good, the control stations look a little dated to me. Like they look like old IBM computers.
Well, but that kind of fits the 1970s aesthetic that was established. Yeah, I mean,
did they really have like monitors?
Yeah, they did.
Monitors they did?
Yeah, they did. They did. Now, I would say that they would have gone from like more reds and oranges in the colors that are on the screens. But rather than these blues and grays, these cool colors, I think they had a lot of warmer colors in the original trilogy. But
yellows, greens, reds,
right,
earthier tones. Yeah, this is more like your Babylon 5 bridge. I never saw Babylon 5, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just have seen bits and pieces of it, and this feels like a Babylon 5 set to me.
Yeah, Babylon 5, Stargate, Star Trek TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. And I'm not saying anything to criticize them. I'm just saying that they had that look. They had that sci-fi, super clean. Everything was, what's it, antiseptic? What's the word that you use? Like hospitals, sanitized. That's the word I'm looking for. Everything has a very sanitized kind of look. All right,
Welcome to the Halcyon Starcruiser.
All right, so we look around. Star Wars has the big buttons. Unlike Star Trek, where everything was kind of like flat screened and so Star Wars has the big buttons on the control panels. This is all right, but if I just saw them standing there, if I didn't have any context, I wouldn't say, "Oh, this looks Star Warsy to me." Honestly,
no. So what do you do then? You just walk up and start pressing the buttons? I mean, that's very similar to the Millennium Falcon ride, where you're just like kind of blindly just pressing all these buttons, and it's part ride, part video game.
Right.
But really, the only thing you get into is the ride itself. Sometimes I think they make you play that video game on the Millennium Falcon ride just to distract you from the fact that the Millennium Falcon ride, there's not much going on there. You're just, sitting there. But it's so exciting. I don't mean to rip on the Millennium Falcon ride, because when I pulled back on the hyperspace thing and me and my family took off, everyone in that cockpit went crazy. It was awesome energy.
Yeah.
And it was like pinch yourself moment. And you look around and I can't believe I'm
flying the
Falcon. Of the Millennium Falcon. And not only am I in the Falcon, I'm sitting in the captain's seat. You know, this is nuts.
Right.
And so that aspect of it is
but you got 40. Cool. You got 40 some years of memories and stashed up in that. This is not like that.
This is a little this is fresh and new and and it doesn't tickle that nostalgia factor.
No.
For you not at all. Not at all. But it's supposed to be fully immersive, so it's not supposed to make you feel nostalgic. It's supposed to make you feel like you're actually there.
Right.
Wow.
This is unreal. It's like I'm walking straight into a Star Wars movie.
Except it's not a movie, right? You get to be in the middle of it all and in the middle of the action.
And then there's
You're playing
activities
cards.
you can do on here.
Yeah, there are activities on board the ship. The first one that I'm really excited about.
Okay, so now so this lightsaber. We've got actually a video coming up in just a minute where we'll actually show you what this is like. This is an artist concept of the lightsaber training that you can get on the Starcruiser, and this has been met with some criticism. But I mean, in and of itself, okay, you're right. You don't get much more Star Warsy than lightsabers. Fair enough. That's fine. That's Star Wars.
Is lightsaber
Yes.
training. Oh my gosh. Here on the bridge, we also invite all of our guests to do bridge operations training. And occasionally, this is
like 30 people on the
we can
bridge.
go to hyperspace.
Yeah, this is where I look at it as a dad and I go, man, this sounds like a lot of work.
Well, when they like for this promo video, it's just Sam and the Imagineer.
Yes.
His name's not Sam. His name is Sean. I
Sean.
can call him Sam.
Sean.
Sean and the Imagineer. They're the only two on the bridge. So that's fully immersive. When you have 50 ankle-biting kids running around, yelling, screaming, hitting all the buttons and everything, I don't know how immersive it's going to be. That concept art showed a very, very packed bridge. And I don't think that's half the amount of people that are going to be there when this thing's actually open.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so it's the immersion thing.
Did you notice everybody's costumed in these artist renderings? I don't know. I mean, are they going to like hand you a wardrobe when you check in so that you fit in within universe? Because I don't think my daughter's going to be a Twi'lek. You know, you got a Twi'lek there. You got people in sort of their Outlander tunics and stuff.
Well, you know, maybe the kids get suited up.
Yeah, I wonder if you're going to be in a costume,
because
if I'm looking at a kid wearing, you know, like freaking, you know, Nike gear, it's going to take me out of it.
Of course. So yeah, I don't know how that approach is going to be taken as far as, yeah, the environment's fully immersive, but you got Phil Jacobs and his family from Philadelphia standing right next to you, and you could tell Phil had bacon for breakfast. You know, that's going to take you out of it. That's going to take you out of it.
It will. All right. Back to Sean here.
Operations training. And occasionally, this is where we can go to hyperspace.
Punch it!
So we've really focused on making
So
sure
it'd be
we
cool
have
if that happens, that like if the whole ship shook. We jumped.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. There we go.
All
right, they're in the hallway. And the hallway it vaguely might resemble the Rebel blockade runner because it's all white and the doors are kind of curved on the corners.
Yeah.
But it's very vague. It still feels kind of like empty and bland to me here.
Yeah.
All, you know, with the white walls, because it's not exactly like the Rebel blockade runner. And that's where they should have maybe considered.
That's a good observation.
You know,
it's like they don't have the license. It's almost like they're we want to. All right, we don't own Star Wars, but let's make something that's kind of like it. Make people feel like maybe it's Star Wars. It's like you guys own it. That could literally be the hallway of the Tantive 4. It
should be.
Yeah, it should be. Right.
It really should be, but it clearly is not. It's a knockoff. It's a knockoff.
Right.
So there's some sort of like, you know, starship schematics up on the wall that would be interesting to look at for about 3 seconds. And, you know, you have stuff like that plastered all over Disney already, and the Star Tours queue and everything. The Star Tours queue feels very Star Wars to me. Much more than this little hallway. But I mean, this is just a little hallway, so I try not to be too judgmental about it, but this is one of the earliest promo videos to come out for this hotel. So you think they'd want to hit you with some shock and awe right out of the gate. And I think that's what people are expecting when they watch this promo video. Show us the shock and awe. Show us the $2,500 2-night stay. Show us the value.
Yes.
Bring it on. And they're really not doing that thus far.
No, there's nothing here that I have seen so far as a ravenous, diehard Star Wars fan that makes me say, yeah, I don't care what this costs. We're doing it. We're doing this.
Right. This first video should give us a new entry for our personal bucket lists as Star Wars fans.
Right.
It should be right up at the top.
Yeah.
Because when it was first announced, way back when, like 9 years ago, when they first announced that a Star Wars hotel was happening, I told myself that's going to be high on my priority list. But here we are getting closer to the actual event, and they're not giving us anything that makes it that priority for Star Wars fans. It feels like a knockoff.
Yep. All right.
Entertainment in the galaxy on board. One of which I'm so excited about is this pop star who's known throughout the galaxy.
Okay, now here's where this thing really goes off the rails. This is where, I mean, all up to this point, this is very like, okay, PR, I get it. So in the video, Sean sort of leaves his tour guide and like, he's like, I'm going to go rogue here and I'm going to go down this path and see what's going on. So he walks down the hallway. You got the pill-shaped lights in the, bordering the door. That's very Star Warsy.
But it's almost, it's
right. It is there. Almost, yeah. Right.
It's almost there.
Right. So he's, all right, yeah. See you around.
He goes to this room. The room is flooded in white light.
Yes.
Something tells me the hotel won't be like that.
Now he's in Quark's bar. No.
He's in a 10 forward.
Yeah.
He's just showed up at 10 forward.
This doesn't look like any cantina I've ever seen in Star Wars, I'll tell you that. But he's in a bar. Look at that. Dude, if this is not right out of Star Trek Next Generation, I don't know what. If you would tell me that this is the coolest, most immersive STTNG experience you can have at an amusement park, I'd be like, I'm in. Where's Guinan? Show me Whoopi. Is she going to saddle up next to me? Where's Quark? Oh, my God.
They got this guy. They have this bartender here, and he's wearing, like, what I guess a modern cruise line employee wear.
He does.
Is what it is. And he looks like, not only does he look like he's wearing wardrobe from the Love Boat, his hairstyle looks like he could have actually been in an episode of the Love Boat in the late 70s. This guy is, he's the new Isaac. Isaac the bartender from the Love Boat. And he has a drink for Sean right as Sean walks in. Is anybody going to check Sean's ID? I don't think he's old enough to drink yet, for starters. And secondly, we don't need Adam Goldberg getting all looped up on the Galactic Starcruiser unless he's there as a guest of RFRs. And if Adam Goldberg was actually part of your hotel stay, then I'm going to change my entire review of this video. But I don't think that's the case.
All right, the only thing I can say about this is it's a little Canto Bite-ish. Maybe it's, so yeah, this is a little Canto Bite, I guess. It's not exactly the bar on Coruscant. Because I know a lot of people are saying, well, they're not all going to look like the Cantina Swank. You're not going to have wooers showing up at all these. But it doesn't even really ring bar on Coruscant. What's the name of that bar?
The Outlander.
The Outlander, right.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I get it. There are different drinking establishments in the Star Wars universe. But if you say the 3 words to any moviegoer, Star Wars bar, there is one mental image that pops into your head. One mental image. And it ain't the Outlander bar in the bowels of Coruscant.
No, definitely not.
And it certainly isn't the Galactic Starcruiser, where you have Adam Goldberg getting hammered at Quark's bar. So what is he going to watch? I hope it's that little toad in a jar from the Solo film. Remember him?
Yes. Right. All right, so he's saddling up to the bar.
What's going on? I just popped through that door and I have no idea.
Oh, be quiet.
He puts his finger.
Yeah, like something big's going to happen. And you're like, as a Star Wars fan, you're like, oh, who's going to show up? Is this Guinan?
Yeah. No, it's Gaia.
All right. I likened this to the holiday special because this is now, verboten to actually have a copy of this promo video. But there's another connection to the holiday special, which is this bizarre music number that comes out of nowhere with this sort of seductive songstress.
Diane Carroll.
Like Diane Carroll, right. But this is a Twi'lek. And, God bless her, man. She's putting it all.
Feel the swell as the moon begins to rise.
Oh, they're so mesmerized.
Yeah.
All around, change is coming.
It's like Adele just walked in or something.
And wouldn't that be amazing? What if Adele was a big fan? Okay. All right. You got 2.5 minutes to convince me that doesn't need much convincing to spend several grand for my family to have an immersive Star Wars experience. Got 2.5 minutes. Why are you going to take up this time with this random Twi'lek pop singer that just doesn't like where's Ula? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you like him green, do you, Swank? Now, because Gaia's purple, and she's quite stunning. They show the people watching her perform, and they were just like, "Oh my God, what is this extraordinary talent?" I'm so like they're like under some spell or something because she's so stunning and talented. And through my eyes, as a longtime consumer of live music and performance, and Star Wars. I'm not feeling mesmerized at all.
No.
I think I'm the target audience.
Look, even if this, Jim, was just like you just heard this song maybe in the background of the video and you just saw, maybe a quick clip of it, you're like, oh, cool. So they have like live performances and stuff. But there's so much build up to this. Like, oh my God, he sneaks off and he's going to do this thing that's like forbidden, when he goes into this bar. And the bartender doesn't even say anything to him, just like points to the stage. And you're like, what's going to happen? And it's this?
Yeah.
Welcome to the new world.
No.
Welcome
She got nothing on Cy Snoodles, that's for sure.
There you are.
He's back in that bland hallway again.
Yeah, right.
In there, the lights were low, and this performer just came out of nowhere.
You just met Gaia.
She was incredible.
Let's get you back to the launch pod in your home planet.
She just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
This performer just came out of nowhere. She was standing in the corner when you walked in there.
What are you talking about?
Came out of nowhere.
Like, let's get you back to your home planet.
Here's the thing that drives me nuts about this, is that Disney is really competing with themselves. Because I've been to the cantina at Galaxy's Edge. And that is something to see. That has the proper Star Wars feels. You look behind that bar and you feel like, yes, that's like the Mos Eisley Cantina. And there's all this like weird little detail in all the corners. Instead of having a Gaia come out and sing, they have a droid DJ there, and it's just a perfect vibe. And the DJ's spinning the tunes, and you're tucked away in those little alcoves like the Mos Eisley Cantina, or you're sitting at the bar, and the bartenders are playing along with you, and it just really feels very Star Wars immersive to me. And I've been to the cantina twice now, and both times did not fail to entertain me. I just had a great time. Now, the bar at the Galactic Cruiser, on the other hand, that bar doesn't even come close to what Disney is already offering Star Wars fans. Check, that bar doesn't even come close to what J.C. Reifenberg is already offering Star Wars fans at Scum and Villainy Cantina in Hollywood.
I was thinking about him, yeah.
He is able to capture more of the authentic Star Wars integrity in his bar that's privately owned and funded by him.
Yeah.
So, and here we're talking about a major corporation that owns the IP, that can go to the archives and make scans of anything.
They can literally do
films.
anything they want, Jim. They can do anything they want. They own it. And this is what they're serving up. It makes no sense. All right, so she's saying, we're going to get you home, take you to home. But he's like, oh, geez, gosh, this is great.
Oh. All right, let's see what other Star Wars things are in here.
And she's like, oh, that's it.
Oh, I can't wait to see a Wampa. I'm ready to see the Wampas now. Is there a Rancor?
No, there ain't no Rancor.
Any beasts of burden? Like a bantha?
It's like, no, you're on the spaceship. We can't have the stuff going on.
Well, this sucks. I thought it was supposed to be a hotel.
But see, that's where they kill themselves.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they just make it like a Star Wars land hotel or like, I don't know, Echo Base? Just make the whole hotel Echo Base. There's just so many different things you can do with it. There's Cloud City. Just spitballing. Can you imagine going and like you have dinner in the carbon freezing chamber? There's like tables all set up and like every 15 minutes.
Or hey, you know what? They showed what a dining room looked like in Cloud City.
We'd be honored if you would join us.
We'd be honored if you would join. And okay, so even if you don't, I know what a lot of people are probably yelling at their speakers right now, saying, "Well, guys, this is meant to honor and be part of the whole sequel trilogy era and all of that." Okay, fine, but
it doesn't even do that. Though.
It doesn't even
if
do
that's
that.
Case,
Is it?
Let's go to Takadona.
Sure.
The bar should be Maz's castle. Give me that.
Right.
I'll take it.
Yes. Maz's castle. That's a perfect scenario to draw, or something that evokes that. I didn't even see any aliens, Jim. Outside of Chewbacca.
Gaia.
Well, Gaia. I saw a Twi'lek, and there was like a kid Twi'lek. But outside of that, I didn't see any aliens. Where's a Greedo?
No Greedos. However, in the report, it does mention that you will be seeing characters in this place. All right, where does it say the information about what's actually in here? Oh, it's actually in the next article that features a close-up look at the captain of the ship. Which we'll get there in a second. But this is a report that comes from Entertainment Weekly, and they do say something about characters populating the hotel. Characters will populate the hotel from.
It's not a hotel, Jim. It is not a hotel. Right. So says.
This is true. Yeah. But the word is that you will get a lot of connections to the history of Star Wars throughout this mission. Apparently, there are going to be creatures and aliens and characters from everything from novels, books, comics, television.
Yeah.
But all Disney era stuff and all sequel appropriate.
Right.
Sequel era appropriate.
By the way, just to remind that if you got a family of four, like I have a family of four, Jim, you got a family of four, you're looking at a little over $6,000 to do this experience. I mean, that's steep. Now, I'm not saying that an immersive Star Wars experience wouldn't be worth that money. Like you were saying, if I was visiting, if I had the opportunity to visit planets or settings from all three trilogies, right? Some prequel stuff, some classic trilogy stuff, some sequel trilogy stuff. I mean, that would be fantastic. That would be absolutely fantastic. You're so right earlier when you said that they've boxed themselves in. They've painted themselves into a corner because of this obsession they have with immersion, instead of it being a celebration of all things Star Wars. Why not make it a celebration of everything that we love about Star Wars, from Ewoks to what are the little?
I mean, what
little
kid would want to
pigeons?
be around Ewoks? How has Disney not done anything with Ewoks yet? I mean,
Porgs. That's what I was thinking. From Ewoks to Porgs to Ugnaughts. I mean, let's just celebrate it all. Jawas. How about a Jawa at Galaxy Starcruiser?
Well, it may happen. It may happen. I mean,
red eyes, yellow eyes. Are they off-world?
Jawa. Nice. So that video, Star Wars fans have been tearing that video apart. It's just been such a punching bag.
Jim, I think it barely lasted a full 24 hours. And this comes after, this comes on the heels of YouTube doing away with the dislike button or the public display of dislikes. Yeah,
it was so bad it couldn't even exist in a world with no dislikes. They can't even survive.
And even if you say, okay, you could say, all right, Mac, Swank, you're the old guys. You're not the target audience for this stuff, for this thing anymore. I would argue, I would say, the hell I'm not, because my kids can't afford this.
Right.
I can afford this, maybe. I am
audience.
the target audience, by God. And if I showed this to my kids, who are, I wouldn't say they're diehard Star Wars fans. My son's a little more of a fan than my daughter, but they appreciate it. They have nostalgia for it because, and appreciation for it because they know their dad loves it so much, and so they're very supportive of it.
And they have a working knowledge of it.
Great. Yes, exactly. A working knowledge of it. They would watch that, and I should do an experiment and show it to them. I haven't shown this to either one of them. They would watch that and they would go, is that Star Wars? I mean, I don't think would make the connection. I really don't think they would.
All right, well, let's do that next week. We'll start the show off with Parker. We'll put a camera on him. We'll get a reaction video from him.
Okay, we'll do that
and
see what he thinks.
How that goes. We'll get a review from young Parker, and that'll be a wonderful Christmas episode of RFR.
And
where
I know,
nobody gets what they want for Christmas.
The last thing I want to do is come on here and just pee in anyone's Cheerios. Because
I want to be careful about that.
Right.
Yeah.
We want Star Wars to succeed. We want people to be excited about it. And if you saw this video and you said, and looked at your significant other and you said, honey, this is what I want to do for our anniversary, for our kids' birthdays or whatever, and you booked your voyage, more power to you. Mm-hmm. But as someone who's been a Star Wars fan their entire life, I look at this and I go, where's the Star Wars? Where's the Star Wars? I just don't see it. The closest thing the thing that hit me over the head that this was Star Wars was the Wookiee. And Twi'leks
painting.
Yeah, in a concept painting.
Yeah.
But nothing in the environment, nothing in and yes, the lightsabers. And let's look at that. We actually have another video, Jim, that you pulled for us.
This is another video that has received a bit of negative reception. This features Disney Experiences and Products Chairman Josh D'Amaro, and he is going to cruise into the hotel for some lightsaber training. And again, it's instant cringe as soon as you recognize it's a Disney executive who's going to be walking us through this. So let's take a look at the action.
So you're right there.
Facing
Your
here.
face off.
Right there he is. He's got the lightsaber. He's looking at a little portal on the wall. Look how stiff he is.
Yeah.
Look how stiff he moves.
And he's reacting to the laser. All he's doing, so the laser comes out and he just puts his lightsaber in front of it. He's not blocking anything.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not like coming at him. He's just trying to move it to where the actual beam of light
where it
is.
happened.
He's sweating. That guy was perspiring from that, and it was the stiffest lightsaber action I've ever seen in my life. Play it again, Jason. Just watch him. He can't move the lightsaber without moving his entire body, and the way he's moving, he looks like he's trying not to spill a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
it's almost as if this is being. Look at him in action.
Now in my house, we have a similar version of this game, where I have these little bean bags, and Parker has a lightsaber, and he has to anticipate what angle I'm going to throw these beanbags, and he's got to deflect them. He doesn't. He doesn't wait for it to happen and then touch it. No, he's got to anticipate. That's the whole point of force training.
You got to tap the force.
You got to tap into that force. Where this guy sees a beam of light and he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to cross this lightsaber, this beam of light." Yeah, and he's so he's so stiff.
I mean, it's really just loosen up a little guy. Loosen up,
dude.
But it almost makes me wonder. It's like, well, maybe if he moves too quickly with that lightsaber, it's going to break or something.
Yeah,
and I want something that's sturdy. If I'm paying, $2,500 for a couple days in this place, I want them to hand me a lightsaber that's not going to snap in half. I want to be able to give it a workout.
And how much time do you think you're going to have with it? You're going to have some kid tugging on the back of your pant leg saying, "Are you done, mister?"
Yeah, 15 minutes. Your itinerary says you got to get out of here because you have to go play some Sabac card game with a bunch of 30 other people. But I'm having so much fun doing a lightsaber training. Nope. We're on itinerary here. You got to go. That kind of stuff would end up driving me nuts because you know how much I like structured playtime.
Oh man. I got to tell you, I'd pay $6,000 just to watch you go through this experience. Just to watch you do it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be interesting to hear some reports from people who actually go through the experience once this thing is up running. How tight is that itinerary? How locked into all of this goofiness are you going to be? What's the swimming pool like? That's what I want to know.
I'll tell you what, if I'm
give
Disney,
me a video at the swimming pool.
If I'm Disney and I really want to win people over, and if I have a lot of confidence in this, I'm getting guys like you and guys like me there that have the bully pulpit of podcasts like Rebel Force Radio and say, you know what, guys, you're wrong about this. This is going to be on your bucket list. This should be something on your bucket list as a Star Wars fan. You got to do it. We're going to have you down. We're going to show it to you. And then you can come back and tell your listeners all about it. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. I don't see any of the big, maybe some of the shill outlets, but certainly not the ones that that call it like it is, like we do here.
Right. You're right. Because we are the ones that they need to win over. We are the ones who have been with the fandom the longest. We are the ones who spend the money. And we are the ones who have the kids. So,
yes.
But my kids are more like young men right now. I could never take the family to this trip because we couldn't exist all in a single hotel room. It would just be impossible. I got young men living in my house here.
Right.
What am I going to do? Squeeze them? They're both tall. I can't squeeze them in those little bunks. And it would me and Wendy sleeping on the bed there. It'd just be pure mayhem. There's no way. I'd have to get 2 rooms. So that's $10,000 to take my family there.
Think about that. Like, you're not just going to Disney for 2 nights to do Star Wars or, the Starcruiser.
You have to go to the park, too.
Of course you got to do that.
Yeah.
You got to be staying in a hotel other than the Galactic Starcruiser. So you're talking about, my God, it's a lot of money is the point. It's a lot of money. And if you've got the means, more power to you. It's great. And as we were saying, if it was something that I had to do as a Star Wars fan, if you were tempting me with all of this iconic stuff to immerse myself in, 40-some years worth of Star Wars, everything from classic trilogy to Mandalorian, and I'd be there in a second. I'd make it happen. But you didn't do it. And I think that's what, at the end of the day, that's why this thing is pulled. Not because people were making fun of it, not because of the overacting of the people involved, but because it didn't deliver. It didn't seal the deal. It didn't do the job it was intended. And they yanked it because it was causing more harm than good.
Yeah, like we said, it needs to be on the bucket list the second you see it. And this one, I'm struggling to even find, $1,000 in my pocket to go there.
Yeah.
Much less 2,500. So they got a lot of work to do. And the thing is with it not being exactly Star Wars, which is frustrating because at Disney California Adventure, they have the Cars Land. And when you walk into that place, you feel like you've just walked into the movie. You feel like you've walked into an animated film. Okay? Not even live action. And the first time I walked into that Cars Land, I did a 360. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Nobody was demanding I'm in character. Nobody was demanding that I do things outside of the realms of the films. I was in the film. That put me in the film, not in the universe.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the universe. I don't want to be in the neighborhood. I go to Disney to go. I go to Disney to go to the Haunted Mansion. Yeah. I don't go there to see like the haunted ranch house down the street. Well, we got ghosts in there too. Yeah, but it's not the Haunted Mansion.
Right.
But it's haunted.
I want the real thing.
It's haunted. No, I want the Haunted Mansion. I don't want to go down the block to some other place, you know? And there's no way the Haunted Ranch House is going to be cooler than the Haunted Mansion. And there's no way the Galactic Starcruiser is going to be cooler than environments taken from the actual films themselves, including the sequels.
Totally.
So, there
all
you
right.
have it.
Where do we go from here? What else do we? Oh, well,
it just feels like it feels like just final thought.
Yes.
It feels like when I look at the Galactic Starcruiser, it doesn't look like it's brought to me by the people who brought me the Star Wars films. It doesn't feel like the people who brought me The Mandalorian. It feels like the people who brought me Star Wars Resistance. That's what it feels like.
Boy, does it ever. And I think that is epitomized here by this reveal from Entertainment Weekly of the captain of the Galactic Starcruiser. A Pantoran, right? If you remember, George Lucas says Baron Papanoida in episode 3. So I guess this is sort of prequely. I'm assuming, this isn't confirmed that this character, Captain Kevin, is a Pantoran. But Jim, she looks like a Pantoran, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By
the markings on the cheeks, because she could be confused for a Chiss, which is the species that Grand Admiral Thrawn is. But with those little tattoos on the cheek, that definitely looks more Pantoran, like we saw in the Clone Wars and elsewhere. And like you said, George Lucas and family in Revenge of the Sith.
But here's what we know about Captain Kevin, according to this Entertainment Weekly piece here, is that, and this is where it gets a little disturbing. It says that we'll learn a lot more about her and her role in some pretty iconic moments in Star Wars history. And this is quoting Scott Trowbridge, the Disney Imagineering exec. What bothers me here is that in Star Wars history, we'll learn a lot more about her and her role in some pretty iconic. So what you didn't know when Luke was throwing Palpatine, or when Vader was throwing Palpatine down the chute, Captain Kevin was there.
Yeah,
he didn't see her. So
she actually took his broken, shattered body to Exegol on board the Galactic Starcruiser and delivered
that's actually a better story than what they really came up with. At least we have an explanation as to how he got delivered there. So we'll learn a lot more about her and her role in some pretty iconic moments in Star Wars history. And she runs the ship with capability, professionalism, second to none. But just like the experience around her, there may be more to her than meets the eye. So, brand new character. I'd like to see I'd like to see a Mon Cal maybe running that ship. That might be kind of nice.
Yeah, they do have that. There. They have that in play in the Rise of the Resistance, right?
That's right. Raddus, right? Or not Raddus. I'm confusing it with the Stephen Stanton character from Rogue One.
Right.
Yeah.
No, this is a new character.
Right, but it's a Mon Cal.
Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
So maybe they just don't want to repeat themselves or something. They want somebody that you can hang with because they sell you an additional. There's a an add-on price to have dinner with the captain. So that's why the captain is primarily humanoid.
Is
So
this
they
like
could
a
sit there and eat
cruise where you
food
have
with
to wear like dress clothes for one of the dinners? It's like the captain's dinner. I've never been on a cruise before, but I've heard about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Well, you get upcharged to sit there with this blue-faced lady and hear all of her stories about how she, there's more to her than meets the eye. And, here's our mystery box. Here's our mystery box. It's Captain Kiva. And she had a big role in some pretty iconic moments in Star Wars history. You always thought Luke blew up the Death Star. Wow.
Here's Captain Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah, she was actually underwater in the trash compactor when Luke got pulled down by the Dianoga, and she beat up the Dianoga underwater, so that's how Luke got let free. The whole movie would have ended right there if Captain Kiva wasn't underwater. Yoda, he had a little earpiece in that big ears of his. He had his little earpiece where Captain Kevin was feeding him some iconic lines.
Oh, yeah.
She was,
You think he was the wise Jedi Master? No. Captain Kevin. Yeah. Delivering all those lines
Yoda
of wisdom.
He just turned it all around. So he could get the copyright on a lot of that stuff.
Though. Oh, I don't get it. You said it so well. You said it's right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you. Some of the most iconic, beloved characters, planets, situations in the history of storytelling and filmmaking, certainly. And you're ignoring it. What is wrong with you?
You own the property. You don't have to make a knockoff. Go for authenticity.
Right.
Well, that's not fully immersive enough. Oh, the hell it isn't. The hell it isn't. Like I said, I would go to Disneyland if they just parked the Millennium Falcon there without all the Galaxy's Edge trimmings and all of that. If they just had the Falcon there, that would be all I need. Immersive enough.
Right.
If you were in charge.
Yes.
And they said, Jason, you are now the Imagineering executive. You can make any decision you want about what this Star Wars hotel is going to be. What would you do?
All right. Hotel. A lot of floors in a hotel. Every floor would have a theme. So depending on where you were, what floor, it would have a different theme. It'd be a different planet, environment. And here's the thing. I wouldn't be so married to this idea that you tried to convince people that they would forget their, who they are in reality and they would just totally immerse themselves. No, I would have people being able to walk. What do you want to do? You want to put people into the film. Not in, like you said, not into the universe. The universe is so nebulous. What do you mean by the universe? Yeah, right. The down the street? No, I want to put you in Mos Eisley Cantina. I want to put you into Cloud City. I want to put you on Exegol. I don't care. Make it sequel trilogy, but make it come out of the films. Let me step into the movies. So what I would do is I would have that elevator ride be amazing. Like you never know where you're going to end up. Boop, 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 boop. And you show up and the doors open and there you are. You're in Cloud City. You're on Yavin base. It would just be incredible if the doors opened up and it put you into the Star Wars universe somewhere. Be very cool. That's what I would do. Something like that.
I like your idea. The accessibility of all the different floors. Maybe just make an area on each floor right by the elevators where it's just sort of like a general public area where people can hang and do stuff. Like on your Tatooine floor, that's where you have the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Right.
Or what have you.
Right.
Or Aunt Beru's Blue Milk Bar, whatever you want to do. but just, steep it in the authenticity in the aesthetic of those environments. And then people then can just advance down the hallways and go to their individual rooms. And maybe those areas aren't really so accessible to everyone staying in the hotel.
Right.
Because you don't want people, going all over each floor, just making all kind of racket and stuff.
No, but you can imagine, imagine how it would drive repeated visits, because hey, the last time I was there, I was on the Cloud City floor, but I really want to be on the Exegol floor or the Coruscant floor
or the Death Star.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, because every time you stay, it could be different.
If you wanted to make one floor the Dagobah floor, you're in Orlando. All you have to do is open the windows.
Right. You just step out. You're in the mud, in the muck, the big bugs flying around. Just open the windows.
So this is unfortunate, guys. We're just riffing and ripping because it's fun, and like I said, it's fun to make it's fun to make fun of things you can't obtain. And right now, it's just not in my budget to go to the Star Wars Hotel, not because I don't have the money, but because I'm not being drawn to it right now.
Right.
They're not selling me on it. This is worse than the job that George Lucas did selling the Lucas Museum to Chicago. He did nothing to market that thing, and so naturally it tanked. This isn't being sold to me at all, and we needed to be steeped in more of the familiar, really, to be able to then get the money from me, because I just feel like I can live without it. I feel like as a Star Wars fan, I can live without it, and I don't think I've said that about anything.
Wow.
Having to do with Star Wars.
Yeah. You want to feel like Luke when he shows up on Dagobah and he says, still, there's something familiar about this place. Nothing familiar really about it, to be honest. So, yeah. And that's not to say that the experience wouldn't be great, because we're talking about a 2.5 minute PR video. But the job of that video is to make you go, I can't miss this, and it failed, and failed in a big way. All right, should we do it? Is it time? The big premiere? It's time.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, the world premiere of Puppet Lando's new song. I never thought I'd be saying it. I had a hard time even getting that sentence out, but. As you remember, over the summer, Puppet Lando came and paid us a visit, and we reviewed Billy D. Williams' record album from the 60s, Let's Misbehave.
Mm-hmm.
And Puppet Lando, he was talking about the wants and needs of a puppet. And I can't remember who said it. I think I said it, where I said, your felt needs to be felt. Right?
Right. It's very profound. Very profound. Yeah.
That is
he was giving us a track by track commentary of that album from Billy D. Williams, and he was revealing some of his needs and his desires, and you said, yes, Puppet, your felt needs to be felt.
Yes. Yeah. And so those were words of inspiration to loyal RFR listener Jeff Ulickney, who has submitted many songs over the years to Rebel Force Radio. He's a talented musician and composer and songwriter who put My Felt Needs to Be Felt to music. Lyrics were delivered to Puppet Lando himself, and through much negotiation with Puppet Lando's people, we got him into the studio to record this track, which could be the first track of a new album by Puppet Lando.
Oh, so you think this is maybe just dipping the toe in the waters to see? Well,
we'll see how it goes. Nobody's heard the song yet, so once the song actually does get airplay, that could derail all the plans for the future. But we shouldn't put it off any further. I think everyone's ready for it. If you're ready for it, I'm ready for it. Ladies and gentlemen, words and music by Jeff Ulickney, performed by Puppet Lando. It's My Felt Needs to Be Felt. World premiere.
How you doing, everybody? You look so tantalizing. My temperature is rising. And if it gets much hotter, I think I'll probably melt. Before it gets much worse, I need you to play my nurse. Because, baby, I want my felt to be felt. My chips are on the table, and I'm hoping that I'm able to win your heart with the cards that I'm dealt.
It's a back card.
So if you've had enough, well, I'm gonna call your bluff. Because, baby, I want my felt to be felt. Some ladies love the touch of a soft cashmere, while some prefer that satin be held near. Some ladies love the touch of a black silk dress, but felt's the fabric that can love you best. Here's a little maneuver. On the vibraphone, Lobot, ladies and gentlemen. Lobot. On the piano, 9 Numb. He's got a mouth like a halibut. Let's blow this party and leave behind these crowds. 'Cause you truly belong with us here among the clouds. When I feel your touch, it's a feeling that's so sublime. Because you plus me is a mix that works every time. Well, I go on grand adventures and I bring home fancy treasures, but my best adventures happen just below the belt. Before the night is through, you'll find adventure too. Because, baby, I want my felt to be felt. Oh, don't tease me, baby. 'Cause, baby, I want my felt to be felt a little higher, just a little higher. 'Cause, baby, I want my felt to be felt. How did you get going, you old pirate?
Amazing.